Hello guys, welcome back to another video today with ARC Exotics, and in this video we're going to be talking about our emergency tank setup and what we've done with our two line day geckos and how they just not got on and the sort of confusion between them all. So we're going to have a little run through of that and a few little updates of what's changed around the room. So other than that, let's get into the video. Right, now as you guys know, these are the three main tanks that we've got near the bedside, and in this one here we have the pair of, well, what we were sold as a breeding pair of line day geckos. Now obviously there's a little few things changing with this. We are getting a UV on the top here, excuse the mess, from Rolo's strawberry, oh there he is, look, Rolo's strawberry habitat crested gecko diet. That is left over, but that is not what we're focusing on today. We're talking about this tank here. Basically we have a UV on the way for these guys, but we now have to order another UV because, as you can see here, temps are fine for the basking side, humidity is fine. We just need a UV, but as you guys know, they have been fighting for quite a while, and I sort of assessed the injuries and I've come to the decision that they were fighting way too much for what a breeding pair should be fighting for. This is what I think here is the male. So because they were fighting, it's just not gone well. So believe it or not, I didn't even film it because it was just too much hassle. But I had to disassemble this tank completely and hunt them down. I ended up catching the female, who was only coming out to try and get food before getting chased off by him. And then other than that, she just weren't coming out at all. The jelly pot is up here. She was never once on the jelly pot, and she was never once on the basking ledge here. So I had to take out all of this tank, so I thought I'd change the substrate while I was at it. So the substrate is now changed. Believe it or not, I did clean the glass, but you wouldn't notice much now because it was a few days ago. And other than that, we have added a few little logs here, one there and one there, for him to get to the jelly pot, and I'll add a video a little bit later on of him going up there to get that. And we've also moved the cave further down because I could never see him when they were basking there like you can now. So the cave's moved further down, but this is the male and he is now on the move, but he is now in here by himself. And like I say, the fighting was just way too much. It shouldn't have been how it was. And you can see there that he's stalking something because his tail's wagging, swaying side to side. He's looking for something. It might have been a cricket. Anyway, I'm losing track of what we're talking about. So yeah, basically they were fighting way too much and it just wasn't ideal. So what we've done is caught the little one, which was easier than I thought, but was still sort of quite hard. So we've caught her and we've now set her up in a little hospital tank because, as you can see from a few photos I include, she did have quite bad damage to her tail. There was a bit of blood, and she also had a few little grazes on her head and on her body. So we're going to get into that tank now and talk about that one. So guys, don't all jump down my throat at once. This is the makeshift Exoterra setup that we've got for the female. Obviously everyone knows that coronavirus is a big thing at the minute and you can't go out, and if you can, it's only for essentials. I didn't feel like going to the pet shop for a tank was as essential when I had this already. So this is currently just set up from bits and bobs that we've got left over in our setups and in our spare like bits and bobs for our other tanks. So this is what she'll have to be in for now. At the end of the day, it's not a massive issue because since I've had her, I've not seen her eat or drink, and that's something that is important to me. So now she's in here, I've seen her have 2 feeds, one day after the other, and I've seen her eat the jelly pot, which is back there, and I've also seen her drink as well. So I'm monitoring her closely, but she's still very, very shy, and the door is actually all the way over there, and as soon as you come in, she will run instantly. So she's still very shy, probably even more so for me talking quite loud near the tank, but it's for the video. So we've got a little makeshift nano spot bulb, about 25 watt. We've got the thermometer there. It is all set up adequately and healthy and properly how it should be, minus the UV. But again, we just forked out a UV for the big tank, so we now also have to get one for this one. This is not going to be a permanent setup for her by no means. We are going to have that set up there, the exact same tank, obviously different design, different layout, but that tank there is going to come onto this unit here. So we'll have 2 tanks the exact same size with housing 1 line day gecko in each, because I was speaking to a few people about this and I was debating getting rid of them, or at least one of them, just because of the room, you know, saving sort of space and, you know, not wanting to keep 2 in individual tanks. But honestly, they've got such great little personalities, and since she's been in here, she's just been thriving. She's been hunting, she's been eating, been so much more active. She's actually been able to come under the basking spot and bask without getting chased off. I never once saw her under the basking spot in the other tank. So yeah, she's doing really well in here. I know it's not an ideal size for her, but she's not making the most of it at the minute anyway, just because she's still very, very scared and skittish. So obviously I'm trying not to go out if I can help it. So I've tried to clutter her up as much as I can to make her feel safe. So there's plenty of wood for her to get underneath and hide and leaves and stuff. I put a few isopods in there as well, but like I say, that is the tank. But considering this was just made up of what we had left over in our room, I don't think that is really a bad setup. Obviously, like I said to you, it won't be permanent, so don't go crazy on me and jump down my throat. It is just a makeshift tank to get her through until this is over, and then we'll be upgrading her to the one you just see with the male in, and we'll be keeping them both as far as plans go so far. I was thinking about reintroducing them into the same tank later on, but if they don't get on, I've then got to try and hunt her down again, and it's just hassle and scares them, so it's not ideal. So yeah, other than that, we'll just talk a little bit more about them and why it weren't going well. So see what you guys think. So as you can see here, this is the male eating. This was literally just filmed after I finished recording the previous video of his enclosure. And again, this is something that he didn't do much because he was too busy going after her. I'm pretty sure it was him going after her. But all you hear was really bad scurrying around the tank, and the female, well, the suspected female was just getting mullered. But now he's more focused on food, he's more food driven, which is something perhaps that he weren't focusing on as much because he was too worried about going after her. I've actually seen him feed 3 times in the last 2 days, and prior to the separation I've had him for 2 weeks, and I've actually only ever seen him himself eat twice. So that sort of seems like a good sign to me, but I'm not too sure if that has anything to do with it. Now again, because the female is quite shy, this is still the male, and as you can see here, he's much brighter with the UV on him as well. This is just a current 7% that we use for the crested gecko, but we're just putting that on for the time being. And as you can see here, his little legs dangling with his tail holding him up onto the jelly pot. I thought that was quite a good shot of him, and his tongue out as well. But like I say, they're such cool, interesting animals, and they've got such personalities, and I don't know how any reptile lover can look at this and not appreciate it. I think they're so interesting, they're so inquisitive, and like I say, seeing them just like this is just quite funny. But him personally has come out of his shell more, even though he was the sort of more dominant one. Like I say, he's more sort of relaxed and more laid back now, not so skittish. Normally, if I was to take a camera up to this close to the enclosure, he'd have ran off, but he's more than happy to sit there and tuck away on his jelly pots, which is good to know. But the fighting was just too much. I kept telling myself, no, they'll be fine, no, they'll be fine. They were actually sold to us as a breeding pair, and I don't think that they now are a breeding pair at all. And I'm not even sure if they were actually, like, you know, in an enclosure together. But they're separated now. But I'm pretty sure they weren't even in an enclosure to start off with together. I've been speaking to a few people, and not many people know the specific subspecies of the line day geckos that I keep. I got sold as just normal line day geckos, but like I said, the guy I mentioned in the previous reptile video, he knows all of his stuff, and he's pretty evident that these aren't just the normal species of line day gecko. So again, that's something that you're sort of not too reassuring when you're buying a reptile, but they act quite similar, other than they're a bit more confident, I guess. But again, that is prior to change. And again here, most of the videos are of the male, just purely because she's too shy to be filmed at the minute and she'll run at any second. He's still quite timid, but not as much as her. And as you can see here, how much of the colour is different. This is with no UVB underneath him, and the colour is much more faded out compared to how it was previous. So, like I say, I'll try and, if I can still find them, add up a few photos of the female's tail, and it just wasn't how it should be. It was quite red, quite sore, and the same with just underneath her legs as well. Like I said to you, I'm not too sure if I can find the photos. As you know, I'm uploading all my videos from my phone, so I'm trying to keep as much storage free as I can. So I'm deleting almost every other photo after photo, but I'll try and add them up. But as you can see, it just wasn't ideal. And like I say, I didn't want to get to the point where I'd left it too late and she was actually really injured, because if she was really injured, one, trying to catch her and get her to a vet during a time like this is hard enough, and two, being able to treat a species like this, which not too many people know about, or if there is an injury, it can't really be fixed, it has to just heal. So the only way to really heal an injury is just for separation. So it was a sort of no-brainer for me. I think it was a good call, and the female seems to be thriving already. So it's just one of them things over time, but hopefully we'll get there. Right now, I know that was probably all a bit over the place, but I hope you guys understand the reason to why I separated them, and the reason to why she's in such a little tank. Like I say, it's not ideal. I know I'm probably going to get a few people say, oh, it's not suitable regardless of the conditions or environment at the minute. But for me, that's the best I could do, and that is better than being chased around by a male that is always after you, biting your tail, stuff like that. And again, it's only temporary. A lot of this stuff in the UK is sort of becoming a much more relaxed with things at the minute. So chances are I'll be able to get a tank sooner rather than later. But even if I don't, it's not the end of the world, because I actually quite like watching her, monitoring her. I keep a chart of sort of feed and stuff like that. So the 2 weeks to what I had them, I didn't see her eat once. She's been in here for about 4 days and I've seen her eat twice, 3 times. I've seen her eat 3 times. So that tells me that she's doing well. I know it's a little tank and you're likely to see her feed more, but to actually see her is good. And not once in the tank previous behind me was she ever on the basking spot, and that's for 2 weeks. So she's actually been basking loads. The tank is just here. She's been basking loads now, which is really good, because that's what they should do. So I sort of hope that clears things up, and sort of why, and the reason I've done it. But I don't really know why I'm explaining myself to you. It's my choice, and it will benefit my geckos. So I hope you understand that, and hopefully you guys will be with me when we get another tank and we'll sort of see her up in that. Hopefully she'll be a bit more confident, and this time I'll try and film me catching her. I did catch her in a cricket tub. It was a lot easier than I thought. She come up the glass, so I just placed it over and then got a bit of paper. But yeah, it sounds easier than what it was, but it's still quite tricky. But again, that's not too bad. But I'm really happy that she's doing well, and my decision whether to get rid of one of them or both of them is now completely changed to not get rid of none of them. I thought maybe that if they were separate, they'd be a little bit more boring perhaps and not come out so much. But in fact, it's been the complete opposite, and they've been out loads, they've been climbing, exploring, stuff like that. So yeah, I'm really happy with that. So there's not much I can say on that front. Other than that, I think that's pretty much covered the main section of this video. We're just going to do a few little updates and that's it. So as far as updates go, this is Gus's new enclosure. It is lined with pond liner, has spider plants in, different water bowl, a few rocks, stuff like that. All of this is different. The light is moved. The house is actually gone now from where it was, completely removed. But I'm not going to show you too much of that because that is a bit of a spoiler. Oh, and as you can see here, the male is on the jelly again. Now, this was a quick update video of what we're doing, but he just always seems to love being on camera at the minute, so we may as well make the most of it. But he's there tucking into that jelly pot, enjoying the single life without the female. Other than that, Rolo's all good. Oh, Rolo's all good. We've added some new leaves. We're going to be doing a few Rapashi and Pangea food reviews and Habitat reviews, just because there's one brand that I've got and I'm really not happy with it at the minute, so we're going to be doing little reviews on that. No clues as to what it is. The sticker boards are both now full, so I need to get another 2 there, and then we can start adding some more stickers. We got some more today, which were these ones. So these ones, so they're waiting to go up on the wall when we get it. If you guys were wondering why Gus isn't in the enclosure, it's because he's currently downstairs making the most of the weather. And we're growing a few little spider plants on the windowsill just to try and help grow and feed Gus for the future. So in this video, we've talked about the whole day gecko separation, the emergency tank setup, and how we dealt with it during COVID-19, and just a few little updates on all the animals really and what we've got coming up. Got the tortoise table over there, which has been revamped completely. Like I say, a few little food product reviews I want to do, loads of stuff like that. Hopefully I'll try and get some shots of the female, and obviously the whole upgrade tank and stuff like that. We'll be talking about the little tank there when it gets its UVB. So we've got a lot of stuff. So thank you guys for watching, and I hope you have enjoyed the video and it has helped you some way or what. So be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.